all float down here. But is a movie worth watching? Let's have a chat. Hi, I'm Nathan. Welcome back to Wasn't My Fault. As I said at the top, Pennywise, the new It movie. Is it worth watching? Well, I saw it a couple of nights ago, and then I rewatched the original one last night, so I could kind of compare the two. So I'm obviously a big fan of the original, being as old as I am. I remember when it came out in 1990, so it's obviously quite a while since the first one, 27 years in fact, which is oddly enough the time difference when Pennywise returns, but I won't tell you too much about that in case of spoilers. So anyway, it's a good movie, don't get me wrong, it's a really good movie. It's well directed, well written, characters are quite good, the kids are unbelievable in it. They are really, really good, as you would expect these days. You watch stuff like Stranger Things, obviously one of them is in Stranger Things anyway, and kid actors, steal the show as always. Absolutely fantastic. Was it scary? No. It was funnier more than it was scary. Think of it along the lines of Stand By Me, Goonies, Stranger Things, that type of thing. It's kind of along those lines. Stranger Things is probably scarier than the It movie, which is a bit of a shame. I quite like the new Pennywise, don't get me wrong. He is quite good. The beginning of the film is a really strong opening. It starts off really well. A little bit more gruesome than the original, a bit more blood and gore and a bit more graphic violence. Yeah, and that sets the tone quite well for the movie. And it just doesn't capitalise on it. As I said, I'm a fan of the original. Tim Curry, one of my favourite actors. I love all his movies. Some of his movies are some of my all-time favourite. Legend, is absolutely fantastic. That's why my son's called Jack, because of that movie. He was fantastic in that. Obviously, Rocky Horror Picture Show. You can't mention Tim Curry without saying Rocky Horror Picture Show, and obviously It as well. And as Pennywise, he was absolutely fantastic. And back in 1990, special effects weren't that great compared with today's cinema industry. Obviously, there's not a lot of computer graphics and computer effects and that sort of thing, so it relied more on visual effects, makeup effects and that type of thing, which, to be honest, works a lot better. My biggest problem with the new Pennywise, he was really good, he was creepy, but he was always creepy. The original Pennywise, he looked like a clown. He's smiling, hold balloons, and it's kind of like he'd be kind of a bit creepy because he's a clown, but he looked like a clown, and it kind of relaxes you up. It's like, oh, it was just a clown. And then he changes and he becomes creepy, and it's the things he says and how he says it, and then when his face changes with the pointy teeth and stuff, and the other things he does that is really not clown-like, that really stands out. The new one is, he's already creepy looking. He doesn't look like he's right. He's a more old-fashioned clown. He looks like he's from the 1800s or something like that. He looks a lot older, so he looks out of place. The original Pennywise, he looks like a clown you'd see in the circus now. So I think they've gone too creepy for the clown, and then when he changes form and becomes the more sort of demonic form, it relies too much on CGI. And that for me is really, really, really frustrating, because it should be more about the actor's ability to portray the kind of demon within and that sort of thing, which I think Tim Curry does really well. Obviously, he's got that voice, he's got the facial expressions, and he pulls it off that way, doing just what he does as an amazing actor. Bill Skarsgård, if I'm pronouncing it right, is undoubtedly a good actor, and he does really well in places. But then the CGI takes over, and you lose what makes Pennywise so creepy and possibly frightening. I won't say frightening because it's not really a frightening movie. But when his jaw extends and you get something that I hate that they've been doing for years, especially like vampires and werewolves, they all have this extendable mouth. The mouth goes massive and it looks dumb. Jaws don't work that way. I'm not talking about the shark. I mean, the actual jaw, it only opens so far for a reason. And when they start getting extended and load more teeth and stuff like that, it just looks fake and stupid. And they've done that with this. It takes away from the sort of fear and the creepiness, because it just looks fairly ridiculous. And that, I think, was the problem. Pennywise wasn't scary enough, he wasn't creepy enough, he wasn't realistic, he wasn't believable. It's set in the 1980s. do more practical effects, make it look more like something from the 80s. The clown should look like he's from the 80s. I know the clown has been around for, many, 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 many years, and but he can change form. He appears on the TV in front of people and talks to them. So he has obviously an understanding of culture at the time. So why isn't his form changing throughout the years? It would make more sense if Pennywise the clown changed his clown form as clowns have changed in popular culture. That would make a lot more sense. The original Pennywise still looks like a clown today. The new Pennywise looks way too old to be believable, and the kids automatically look at him as like, what the hell? He looks out of place, he looks wrong. Yeah, a clown in the middle of town is going to be out of place and wrong. But when he looks like he's already 200 years old or whatever, it takes away from that. It's supposed to put you at ease, first of all, because he's a clown with a balloon and he's all, happy and stupid and everything else, and it's supposed to put you at ease. And then he changes, and that's where you get the fear. That's where he gets, to feed on your fear and how frightened you are, and brings all that into it, because he changes from something you expect to something you don't expect. When he already looks a bit weird, you expect something to be wrong, so the fear factor is dropped considerably. There's not a lot of jump. I think there's 1 or 2 jump scares that got a couple of people in the cinema, especially my friend I was watching it with. She jumped at like one scene, and for a whole movie, and there's one scene she jumped at. No, I'm sorry, it's fairly disappointing. Like I said, in many ways it is superior to the original one. Obviously the storyline is done a lot better. The original one jumped between the kids and them as adults. Too often it tried to give you too much information in one go, and it wasn't that long really, the first part, and it just kind of rushed through all the parts of them as kids, so you didn't get the characters all fleshed out as much as you do in the new one. You get to like the characters a lot more, you get to understand who they are, what they fear, and all that sort of thing. They missed out a few things like the werewolf of Richie and that sort of thing, which I think would have been quite nice, especially around the era that it was set. It would have been quite good to introduce that kind of thing into it, but they didn't so much as they did in the original, showing their individual fears. It was kind of like they'd have something in front of them that they feared. Some of them it would be their sort of greatest fears, everyone would just be something they'd be afraid of, which was a bit wishy-washy for me, to be perfectly honest. But like I said, cast, can't fault the cast. It was really good. Even Pennywise could have been good if they had done in a different way, I think, because he was really good and he was creepy. The way his eyes never quite looked the same direction made him look a bit creepy, but it should have been more realistic clown first, and then change into something else and be more unusual, and suddenly jump into it, instead of all the motion blurs and the sort of the weird camera effects they did to make him look a little bit more creepy and freaky. I don't think worked. It took you out of it too much. Instead of trying to draw you into something believable, as the best horror movies, they make you think it could actually happen. If you watch a horror movie and you go into a dark room by yourself, you should really be looking into the corners, wondering if there's something there in the dark. It doesn't do it at all to you. You don't feel connected to the horror. You don't feel like it's something happening. It's all happening to kids, yeah, but you don't feel like you're kind of connected to the horror and to what's going on, and it's not believable in that way. Even films like Alien, you're not connected to it. It's in space, it's an alien, but it's the darkness, it's the unknown, it's that type of thing, that it could be there behind something, and that's where the fear comes from. And it just doesn't capitalize on that. Looking at the original one, it had a great cast. I even forgot some of the kids they had in it, and it's just like, incredible. You've got Seth Green in it. I didn't even remember Seth Green was in it. That's how long ago I last watched it. I remembered all the adult characters in it because they're all well known for other things at the time, but the kids, I completely forgot who they all were. So you got him in it, which is pretty cool. The girl in it was actually from Ginger Snaps, which is, I really like that horror movie, a vampire film, really good. So you got this fantastic cast, and of course one that played Bill, whose name escapes me, who was also in Sequest and many other things, unfortunately died at quite a young age. All top-notch actors, but you look at it and the script, it doesn't compare to movies of today. It was a long time ago. Personally, I think they should have combined a little bit of the two. Maybe a Netflix series, like Stranger Things. They could have drawn it out, because a lot of time when they take, it was a fairly big book. It could use it as a doorstop. It's massive. Lots goes on. I know there's not everything you could put in a movie. That's understandable. There were some weird things that you wouldn't translate to screen. You never ever would. Nobody would put some of that stuff on screen. fair enough. But a little bit more about the character, especially things that happen in the next chapter, which obviously, sorry, if it's a spoiler, sorry, yep, it is 2 parts. But if you know anything about it, you know that. If you've read the book, if you've seen the original, it's 2 parts. One story when they're kids, one story when they go back as adults. So, there are things that will happen in the next one that I think we could have had a little bit more character development in the first one to understand motivations in the second one. If it should follow the same storyline, but there's something that happens that we really needed a little bit more knowledge of the characters, and I think they developed some characters and some they kind of didn't do a lot with, which is a bit of a shame. So yeah, next time, guys, Netflix or Amazon, I'm not going to be biased, I've got Amazon and Netflix. Series, do a whole series, do like 6 episodes, 6 hour-long episodes for part 1. Series 2, do part 2. It'd be much better. You'd be able to develop the characters more. You'd be able to get the creepy factor up a lot more, and not show so much of Pennywise being a kind of demony monster character, more of him being a clown and then becoming more and more creepy. And I think that would work a lot better. It'd be much more interesting. Spread it out. They did with Lord of the Rings. They did several movies for each part because it was so big and so many stories to tell. That's what they should have done. TV series is the way to go. I really don't care about the cinema anymore. I quite like watching things at home. I've got surround sound. I've got a big screen. I don't need to spend ridiculous amounts of money, go to the cinema and buy popcorn and everything else and spend lots of money. Yeah, I know studios want to make money like that, but you make a lot of money on Netflix and stuff as well, Maybe look at that instead for these bigger stories rather than just trying to make money, because I don't think it's going to do as well in the box office as people expect after more honest reviews come out. Because a lot of people get, oh my god, it's the most frightening film I've ever seen. It's really not. No way. Yeah, so yeah, I'm rambling on now because I'm disappointed. Yeah, I was looking for a lot. The trailers look good. It didn't capitalize on any of the horror whatsoever. Like I said, don't get me wrong, it's a really good movie. It's just not a good horror movie, unfortunately. So if you want to see something that's a good film, doesn't have the horror aspects, then yeah, go see it. It's really good. Like I said, it's more along the lines of Stand By Me, Goonies, that sort of thing. The kids have great interaction, great acting. There's quite a lot of funny moments. There's more funny moments than there are horrifying moments, and it's quite nice seeing all the kids become friends and that sort of thing. That was a really nice aspect of it. But other than that, take it or leave it, to be honest. Go see the original. It's a bit dated, unfortunately, but Pennywise still, Tim Curry still steals the show completely. If he was in this one, it may have made a difference. I know he's a bit old and not that well these days, but can't beat his performance, unfortunately. Sorry, Bill Skarsgård. You're good, but I think you're let down by the CGI, and to be honest, the costume wasn't impressed with all that much. So, oh well, never mind. Maybe next time. So, hope you've enjoyed this. If you haven't been here before, please subscribe and have a look at some of my other reviews and unboxings and gameplays. That would be quite cool. Please like, comment as well. Tell me, what did you think of the movie? Did you think it was frightening? Do you prefer the original? Do you think Bill Skarsgård is a better Pennywise than Tim Curry? Can't imagine how, but maybe you do. Let's have a bit of a discussion about it. That would be kind of cool. So, please do that. Share it with your friends and colleagues and family or whoever else. Just share it and get people to comment and see what they think as well. It'd be kind of interesting to find out. So, thanks a lot for watching. Please come again soon. Bye-bye for now.